You haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't forget to do so. My name is Linda. I'm 31 and until very recently, I believe my life was picture perfect. My husband Ethan, age 34, works as an IT consultant in downtown Chicago. We've been married for 7 years, we have a cozy home in the suburbs, a dog named Ginger, and a circle of supportive friends. If you'd looked at me 2 months ago, you'd see a woman certain she'd never break her vows. So how did I end up here, sitting alone in our half-empty living room, waiting for Ethan to finalize our divorce papers? Let me start at the beginning, at least the beginning of the end. The new show worker. It started with my job at a mid-sized marketing firm. We planned our yearly corporate retreat at a resort near the Wisconsin border, something about team bonding and brainstorming sessions. I was excited to get away from the daily grind. Ethan teased me. Ethan, smiling, "Don't have too much fun up there, you know how these retreats get." Me, laughing. "Stop it. You know I'm just there for the workshops and the free coffee. I'll be back before you even miss me." I truly thought so, but that was before I met Adam, a new supervisor transferred from our Boston office. Tall, confident with a disarming smile. The first time I saw him in the resort's conference hall, I felt a spark of curiosity. He was leading a workshop, and each time he talked, his voice commanded attention. My heart pounded a little faster. I couldn't explain it, maybe the atmosphere or the excitement of being away from normal life. I never considered myself the type to flirt, but Adam and I ended up in the same group project that day. We brainstormed marketing campaigns, and I realized we had a lot in common. Taste in music, traveling experiences, favorite Chicago pizza spots. Nothing seemed suspicious at that point, just friendly chatting. As the retreat wore on, the bonding events grew more personal. Dinners in a fancy lodge and casual drinks around a campfire pit outside the resort. One night, around 9 or 10, we were all outside under a starry sky, sharing stories about the worst bosses we had. Ethan usually would be the first person I'd text about such silly fun, but my phone had died earlier. I never found a charger in time. Adam sat next to me, offering me a jacket since the temperature dropped. Adam, softly, "You look cold, Linda. Here, take my jacket." Me, smiling. "Thanks. Didn't realize how chilly these Wisconsin nights could be." We ended up drifting away from the rest of the group, strolling near the resort's wooded path. We talked about random things, our upbringing, future career plans. We laughed a lot. I can't pinpoint the exact moment. It felt like we crossed a line from colleagues to something more charged, but it was definitely there, unspoken tension. Adam, a gentle tone. "I know we just met, but I feel like I've known you forever." I should have stepped back, mentioned Ethan, or changed the subject. But instead I said, "Me, I feel it too. It's strange." We parted ways that night with nothing more than a lingering look. Yet that single moment ignited a spark. All next day, we exchanged glances across conference rooms. When I volunteered to help set up for a workshop, he joined me. We found ourselves alone in the supply room, rummaging for markers and flip charts. That's when it happened. A kiss. Quiet, electrifying, and absolutely wrong. Me pulling away, breathless. "Adam, we can't." "Adam, I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to cause problems. Me, heart pounding. I have a husband. We're happy. I'm not. This isn't me." But I didn't run, didn't leave the room. We just stood there, hearts racing, until we both nodded in agreement to say nothing, to forget it. If only I had stuck to that vow. The final evening of the retreat turned from a simple dinner into a small after-party in the resort's bar. Most of my coworkers eventually stumbled back to their rooms, but Adam and I lingered, talking far too intimately about life and love. My mind screamed to stop. I was a married woman. But I craved that excitement, that sense of being seen. At home, Ethan had grown more distant with his constant focus on work. Or maybe that was just my excuse. When the bartender was closing up, Adam offered to walk me to my room. I knew it was a bad idea. Still, I nodded. We reached my door, and I fumbled for my key, heart pounding. Then the insanity overcame me. I invited him in. Me, voice shaking slightly. "Do you want to come in for a minute, just to talk?" He hesitated only a second. "Adam, sure." We crossed the threshold. The minute the door clicked shut, we fell into each other's arms. In a swirl of guilt and desire, we ended up on the edge of my bed. I kept thinking, "Stop, you're crossing a line you can't uncross," but my body refused to listen. The rest was a haze of betrayal, my betrayal. The next morning, as the retreat ended, I felt hollow. Adam and I parted ways with an awkward goodbye. We said we'd keep in touch, but deep down I felt dread. I told myself it was a stupid fling, a one-night mistake, never to be repeated. The retreat ended. I drove home to Ethan, my brain swirling with guilt. For a few weeks I tried to compartmentalize, acted normal with Ethan, told him the retreat was fine. But Adam occasionally texted me, referencing inside jokes from that night. I responded politely, but each time a wave of guilt crashed over me. I had this fantasy I could just bury the memory. I had no idea Ethan would discover the truth. Turns out in my haste, I'd left behind something crucial. My work phone's camera had automatically uploaded photos from the retreat to my personal cloud account, which Ethan sometimes used to store family pictures. I had snapped a few silly selfies with Adam, plus a short video in my hotel room corridor. The footage inadvertently captured Adam leaning in the door to my room opening, plus the low voices of us giggling about how we had to be quiet so nobody sees. Ethan stumbled upon this while searching the cloud for some old family vacation photos. He recognized Adam from one of my group pictures and realized the timestamp matched the night I was away. Suddenly, everything clicked. I was in the kitchen when he confronted me. He'd just come home from work, phone in hand, face pale and grim. Ethan, sternly. Linda, what is this? Why is Adam with you outside your hotel room after midnight? My heart nearly stopped. I glanced at the phone screen. It was a short clip. My voice in it. Be quiet, I don't want anyone to see us. Even in just a few seconds of footage, you could tell we were about to go into my room. Me, stammering. Ethan, look, it's not what it looks like. Ethan, don't insult my intelligence. I can see exactly what's happening. I broke down. I told him the truth, that it was one night. It never meant anything. I was sorry, so sorry that it wouldn't happen again. He stared at me like I was a stranger. The silence was worse than any yell. Ethan, quietly. After everything, you betrayed me. And for what? A coworker who gave you attention for one night? Me, it's not an excuse, but I felt lonely. You were so busy. Ethan, don't pin this on me. You had an affair. I didn't force you. He left, slamming the door behind him. That night he slept at a friend's. The next day he told me he wanted a divorce. I begged him to reconsider, said we could do therapy. I'd do anything. But he'd made up his mind, heartbreak in his eyes. Ethan, you shattered my trust, Linda. I'm done. The divorce was relatively fast. Ethan moved out, stayed with a colleague. Our circle of friends was shocked. Some tried to stay neutral, but the truth got out eventually. I lost face at my firm too. Word spread that something inappropriate happened during the retreat. Adam got transferred to another branch to avoid awkwardness. My personal life collapsed into chaos. I keep replaying how easily I let that one night ruin my marriage. One text from Adam, one invitation into my room, undone a decade of love. Now months later, the divorce is official. Ethan collects Jacob for visits every other weekend. He's polite but distant, won't even glance at me if we're in the same room. Me to Ethan quietly. I'm sorry. I'll always be sorry. But he shakes his head, lifts Jacob's backpack, and walks away. No reply. Some nights, I still cry over what I lost. I see photos of us smiling at Jacob's birthday parties, Ethan hugging me from behind. I'd do anything to get that back, but I can't fix the betrayal. I tell this story to caution anyone who thinks just one harmless fling can remain a secret. Mine didn't remain hidden. Even if it had, the emotional weight alone would have corroded my marriage. In the end, my single night of so-called passion cost me the man I loved and the stable home we created for our son. Now I live alone in our once-shared house. I put on a brave face for Jacob, but every quiet evening is a reminder of what I threw away. Maybe down the road, Ethan will find someone better. Maybe I'll eventually move on. But no matter what, the ache of regret follows me. Because sometimes one moment of weakness is all it takes to destroy everything you've built.